two review questions. Let's make sure that one more time you understand the instruction for next Monday's first midterm. All right. So again, these are the two Zoom links to your next Monday's midterm. They are different from the lecture one. Depending on your last name, you need to log into one of the two Zoom links. And then, 3 questions, 50 minutes. So you can start logging into the Zoom at 7:50. Question will be available to you at 7:55. No cell phone as the calculator. No cell phone as the calculator. No keyboards. And then make sure that, you put down your full name and student ID number on the first page of your answer sheets. Make sure that you know how to convert your answer sheet into a single PDF, like what you did for your first quiz, and then submit the PDF of your answer sheet to the island site under assignment, first midterm submission, before 8:55 on Monday. Okay, before 8:55 a.m. on Monday. No late submissions will be accepted. So, any question again about the midterm? Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, final comment. You have been doing this online exams, for what? 5 quarters? Okay. So don't try to do anything inappropriate, anything funny. My advice to you is that just study, try your best. Don't try to do anything stupid. All right. If there's no question, then let's talk about the answers to the two review questions. All right, so if this is an in-person class, I would have asked, how many of you have you tried these two questions before today's lecture? Anybody?
I did. Yeah, I have.
Okay, good. Next question. How many minutes did you need?
25.
25, good. Anybody else? Give me a sense.
Probably like 30 minutes exactly.
30 minutes is about the limit, okay? Upper bound. Anything else? Anybody? Anybody? 25, 30 is about right, yeah? Say yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's dig into this. So the first question, okay? Okay, before I continue, let me make sure that you understand. These are the review questions for the first midterm. These are not the practice question for the first midterm. So do not think that all you need to do for your Monday's midterm is just to memorize the answer to these two questions and then you'll be fine. You will not be. Okay? All right. So the first question is giving us a table. Okay? It's giving us a table that relates the basic concepts of macroeconomics, which has to do with what? The nominal versus what? Real GDP. Okay. So my hope is that whenever you look at this kind of question, before you start plugging numbers, you think conceptually. What we have done in the lectures, what you have read in the textbook regarding what? Regarding the definitions of nominal and real GDP. Okay? So once again, the definition of nominal GDP has to do with what? Total market value of all the final goods and services produced what? Within the boundary of a country, such as US, for a given period. Yes? Say yes, please.
Yes.
So the key here is that when you are looking at the nominal, you are using what? The current year prices. Agree? Hello?
Yes.
Now, moving on in terms of real GDP, you're talking about the same thing, which has to do with what? Total market value of all the final goods and services produced within the boundary of a country, such as the US, for a given period or during a given period. But the key difference is that nominal using the current year prices. However, real GDP, you're going to use the what? Base year what? Prices. Yeah? Everybody? Hello?
Yes.
And then we use capital Y to denote nominal GDP, little y to denote real GDP. And then, we have the GDP price index to give us a single aggregate price measure for the economy as a whole. Okay? So you have three notations, capital Y, little y, and the P to characterize, how a macro economy operates at the most basic level. Okay? At the basic level. So now, for this particular problem, what is given to you is that number one, the nominal GDP for the year of what? 2017 is equal to 10,000, right? Yeah. So this is given to you. Say yes.
Yes.
Next, inflation rate. So that's the growth rate of GDP price indexes is equal to 10% minus. So when you have a negative inflation rate, what does that mean? That means that the economy is going to experiencing what? So-called what? Deflation. Prices are falling down. And then finally, the question is giving us the growth rate of real GDP is also equal to 10%. Okay? So the growth rate of real GDP is plus 10%. The growth rate of prices, GDP price index, is negative 10%. That means prices are falling. The economy is doing a deflation. All right. So now, 17 is the base year, right? 17 is the base year. All right. So tell me, when you look at this table, which is the first question you answer? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. Which part is the easiest part that you can get the full credit without any effort? What is it?
Real GDP for 2017.
Good. I'm showing you how would I answer this question if I were in your shoes as a student. All right. So I start with part B, and then I recognize that part B is asking what is the real GDP for the year 2017. And then I said, 2017 is the base year. So a key characteristic, a property of the base year is nominal and real GDP are the same in the base year, correct? Say yes, please.
Yes.
Oh, good. So what do? Make sure that you underline the keyword of the answer and then put down base year here. I already said this more than once. You do not put down base year here. You will not get full credit. Okay? You got to put down base year at the end of your answer for the base year, for this part. All right. Once I know part B, what's the next easiest point I can get? Which one?
Solving for P 2017.
Part D.
Price
Yes.
index.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Part D, right? So you say, oh, part D is asking what's the price level, GDP price index for the year of 17. So what's the answer to this? What do we do?
100 base year.
Equal to 100 because we arbitrarily set the GDP price index for the base year is equal to 100 for convenience. Okay, for convenience. So again, this is the case because this is the base. Agree? Hello? Good. All right. So what do you want to do next? Which one?
We can do P 2018 for the price index for 2018, since we have the growth and the base year.
So you want to do part E first. Is that right? Any objection to that? Because once you are done with B and D, either you do part E or you can do part C first. So which one you want me to do first?
I mean, E is usually good. That's what I did.
E, you want to do E first. Fine, let's do E first. E is asking what? What's the GDP price index for the year of 18, right? Agree?
Yes.
Good. So what do? You say, oh, Pueblo, I know that the inflation rate, which is nothing but the growth rate of GDP price index, is equal to the old price and the new price, which is something we need to solve, minus the old price. So what's the price level for the base year 2017? What do I need to put here?
100.
Thank you. Yes, 100. And then what should I put in the denominator?
100 again.
Times 100% is equal to minus 10%. Agree?
Yes.
Good. And then why we put 17 here? Because this 100 here because this is the price of 17. This is the price of 17. Okay. New minus O divided by O times 100% give us the growth rate of the price, which is the inflation rate. A negative number, a negative number, a negative number. So question for you. So now you have this times 100% equal to minus 10%. Are you able to solve P18?
Yes. Yeah.
So I give you this equation. You should be able to solve the price for P18, therefore is equal to
90.
90. Thank you. Underline it. Agree?
Yes.
So tell me, up to this point, how many minutes you need? B, D, and E, half of the question. How many minutes?
Less than 5.
Less than 5? You are so modest. You need more than 30 seconds for this? Say no. Say
No,
no.
for example.
No.
You need 30 seconds for this? Say no.
You don't need to show your full work, do you?
Which one?
I mean, like for like D, you don't actually need to write out the formula. You can just write out 100 base year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's taking me so long.
Even if you write down the whole word, it shouldn't take you more than 1 minute. Agree? Hello? So if you ask me, okay, it shouldn't take you more than 3 minutes in total for these 3 parts altogether. Okay? And then, if you say, oh, boy, I'm very slow, yeah, 4 minutes. And then check your answer, 5 minutes in total. Everybody? So before moving on, you should have full confidence that, you got everything correct here. Agree?
Yes.
Hello? All right. So, what's next? You tell me that you want to do part C, right? So what is part C asking? Part C is asking what's the real GDP for the year of 18, correct? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, so what do? You use the information that's given to you. What's the growth rate of real GDP? So again, the new real GDP, Y18, minus the old real GDP, which is equal to how much? 10,000. Agree? Hey guys, for those of you who have done it, help me out here. Yes? Hello?
Yes.
And then what should I put in the bottom?
10,000.
10,000 again, because once again, this is Y17. And then times 100%. Give us 10%. Okay? Plus 10%. So here we go again. You have one equation. You have one equation. And then you have 10% on the right hand side. Are you able to solve for little y18? So yes, please.
Yeah.
Good. So what is y18 equal to?
11,000.
11,000. Okay. 11,000. Agree?
Yep.
All right. So I'm done with B, D, C, E. So what's next you want me to do? What's next?
A.
A. Thank you. See, when I did the in-person lecture on this part, okay, when I asked these questions, and then some students who have done this beforehand will help me. And then I will give these students some extra points for their midterm. Just keep that in mind that you will get rewarded when you work this out beforehand and help me out during the lecture. All right. So part A is asking, what is the nominal GDP, right? And then we know from our classroom discussion, nominal GDP is equal to real GDP times GDP price index divided by 100, correct? Say yes, please.
Yes.
Say yes, please.
Yes.
Hello? All right. So for this particular question, we want to find out what the nominal GDP for the year of 2018. Question for you. Do I have the real GDP of 18? Say yes. Do I have the real GDP of the year 18?
Yes.
What is that?
11,000.
11,000. Okay, so this is my Y18. And do I have the GDP price index for the year of 18 that we derived earlier?
Yeah.
Agree? Yeah? So, what is it? 90. So again, in economics, everything is built upon what you did earlier. So earlier we derived the price and real GDP for the year 2018 individually, separately. Now we want to combine them for the derivation of nominal GDP. So you put 100 here. So what's the resulting number for the nominal GDP of the year of 2018?
9,900.
9,900. Thank you. Very good. Okay. So that's my part A. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
What is my final part? The final part is asking, what is the growth rate of nominal GDP? You say, oh, here we go. New minus old divided by old. So do I have the new nominal GDP or the nominal GDP for the year of 2018?
Yep.
What is it? 9,900. Okay. So this is my Y18. Do I have the nominal GDP for the previous year, the old nominal GDP for the year 2017?
10,000.
Which is given to us. 10,000. And then you put 10,000 at the bottom. Right? New minus old divided by old. New minus old divided by old. And then what? Times 100%. Yeah? Agree?
Yep.
Good. So what's the answer?
Negative 1%.
All right. So question for you now. So this is the second part of the question, right? So C, A, and F. So how many minutes do you need? C, A, and F. How many minutes do you need? Somebody?
Like 5.
So you shouldn't need more than 5, correct?
Yeah.
So in total, for the entire question, you don't need more than 10. Agree?
Agree.
All right? That's my expectation. You should be able to do it. Okay. And before we continue, I want you to pay close attention to this problem. So this is the problem who tells us that the nominal GDP growth rate is a negative number, correct? Say yes?
Yeah.
Good. So this is telling us that in this economy, nominal GDP actually is going down, right? Say yes?
Yeah.
Good. And then at the same time, the question also tells us that the growth rate of price indexes, which is also a negative number. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. 10%, right? So in this economy, price is also falling down. And then by a larger percentage. Nominal GDP falls down by 1%. Price falls down by 10%. Agree?
Yeah.
Good. So therefore, what happened to my real GDP? The real GDP actually goes up by 10%. Okay? So this is the other side of the coin that we discussed in the lecture. That is, when the economy has inflation, the growth rate of real GDP will be smaller than the growth rate of nominal GDP. And here, when you have deflation, then you have a situation where the nominal GDP is falling, but real GDP actually is increasing. So be careful why you don't pay attention to nominal. Instead, we pay attention to real GDP. All right. So that's question number 1. Moving on to question number 2. Okay. So question number 2 is a different way of analyzing the income expenditure model. Okay. So in the classroom discussion and handout number 2, we talk about the income expenditure model in the format of equations. We start with C equal to C bar plus little c times YD. But here is showing up in terms of a table. So do not be intimidated. Look at the table. Try to understand the table. And then what? Attack the questions accordingly. So this table is telling us what? This table has 6 columns, right? Agree? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. First column is the total income. Second column are the taxes. Third column is the disposable income. So you notice that, because at the bottom of the table, it says that there is no transfer payment, correct? Yeah? Agree?
Yeah.
Good. So therefore, your disposable income is Y minus TA. Your transfer payment here is going to be equal to 0. So if you take the difference of the first column, which is the income, and the second column, which are the taxes, then you get the third column. Say yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take the first row, income 6,000. Taxes are 600. 6,000 minus 600 give us what? 5,400. Everybody?
Yeah.
All right. And then the next 3 columns tells us what are the values of consumption, C, investment, I, and G, government spending, respectively, at each different levels of income. Hello? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So now, at the same time, the bottom of the table also gives us additional important information, that is a C bar, which is autonomous consumption, is equal to 1,100. So these are the information that is given to us. All right. Transfer payment is equal to 0. Autonomous consumption is equal to 1,100. So these are given to us. All right. So part A is asking, what is the tax rate? Okay. What is the tax rate? We say, oh, we know taxes is equal to the tax rate times Y, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Good. So therefore, the tax rate T is equal to taxes on the top divided by Y. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Everybody? So you can take any rows, okay, from the table to answer this question. But then suppose you take the first one. Taxes is equal to 600 when the income is equal to 6,000. Agree?
Yeah.
Everybody, make sure that you understand where did I get the 600 and 6,000 from. 600 is from the first number of the second column. 6,000 is the corresponding first number from the first column. Yeah? So when I do this calculation, 6,000 divided by 600 divided by 6,000 give us, what's the answer? 0.1. Yes?
Yeah.
Good. Underline it. All right. Part B is something that I have emphasized, and then I told you every single exam, first midterm, second midterm, and your final of this class, I'm going to ask you this same two problems over and over and over again. All right. So the first one is, what is MPC out of disposable income? So by definition, the MPC out of disposable income is denoted as little c, correct?
Yeah.
And then by definition, little c is equal to change in consumption divided by change in what? Disposable income, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you need to plug in numbers for the numerator and the denominator. Numerator and the denominator. So in order to calculate the change, you need the information from two rows instead of one, because you're talking about change. So here, once again, you can take any two rows. But then suppose I take the first two rows. I notice that, when the income is 6,000, taxes is 600. My consumption is what? 4,700. Say yes?
Yeah.
Next, when my income is 8,100, taxes are 880. My consumption is what? 5960. Okay, so if I take the information of these two rows, what should I put on the top? You say, my change in consumption therefore is 5960 and 4,700. So that's what I put on top. Agree?
Yeah.
And then I need the corresponding changes in the disposable income. So you look at the what? You look at the third column, and I say, when my consumption is 5960, my disposable income is 7290. And when my consumption is 4,700, my disposable income is 5,400. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you find out. The top is 1260. The bottom is 1890. All right. So here you need to be careful, huh? This is where your, elementary school or middle school, So this divided by this will give you 2/3. Okay. Your calculator will tell you this is equal to 0.666667, but actually it's equal to 2/3. Okay. You need to be able to handle fractions. And 2/3 is a nicely looking number. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is the marginal propensity to consume out of disposable income. When your disposable income goes up in the amount of 1890, your consumption will go up by 1260 as a result. Their ratio give us the MPC out of disposable income, in this case, equal to 2/3. Agree?
Yeah.
All right. Next. What is my MPC out of total income? What is the MPC out of total income? It's notation. C times what? 1 minus T. Agree?
Yeah.
Is my MPC out of total income. So C is MPC out of disposable income. C times 1 minus T is MPC out of total. So you say, oh, if I know how to do little c, I know how to do little c times 1 minus d, because by definition, it's a change in consumption divided by change in what? Total income now. Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I do exactly the same thing as I did. What should I put on the top? So, here is changing consumption. Here is changing consumption. So you can do exactly the same. 5960 minus 4700. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you find out what's the corresponding income. When my consumption is equal to 5960, then the answer here is 8100. When my consumption is 4700, what is the income I'm making? 6000. So you do the same thing, the top, 1260. The bottom now is equal to 2100. So you do 1260 divided by 2100. That will give us
0.6.
yes. The answer therefore the answer here will be 0.6. All right. Some of you, okay, will say, oh, Puego, there must be a different way of doing this. And then actually the answer is yes, there's a different way. My suggestion to you, my advice to you is that you answer this question this way. And then use what I'm going to tell you now as a way to check your final answer is correct. So tell me, this is the notation that gives us the marginal propensity to consume out of total income. So do I know what's the value of little c?
Yeah, 2/3.
2/3. Do I know what's the value of t?
Yeah, 0.1.
Yeah. So tell me, what is 1 minus 0.1 equal to?
0.9.
Then 0.9 times 2/3 give us
0.6.
everybody? So these two different ways of solving the same problem must give you the same answer. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Agree?
Can't you
Yeah.
also just take the actual consumption and subtract the autonomous consumption, put that over disposable income?
Say that again. You take the consumption.
Take the consumption, like 4,700, the consumption from the first, and then subtract away the autonomous consumption and place that over the disposable income.
So you are saying the following.
Yep.
Are you sure you want me to show this to the entire class to make their life? So you are saying this. Okay. C equal to C bar plus little c times YD, right?
Yeah.
So this is 4,700. This is 1,100, right? And then disposable income is 5,400, right?
Yep.
Then you can solve for C, right? That's what you do, right? Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
So Matthew just told us the third way of solving the same. Okay, that's fine. Of course, and you can do the same thing for C is equal to C bar plus C1 minus T times Y, right? You do the same, right? Yeah? You can solve this. Agree?
Yeah.
All right. So, how many minutes you need for these two parts combined?
Like 5 to 10.
No, not 5 to 10. Why you need them to 10?
Yeah, just in case.
No, there's no in case. These are simple numbers. If you ask me,
We'll say 5.
5. You take 5 minutes to complete and then you check your answers, right? If you think that, oh, I need 10 and then you check your answer, then you are going to be in a panic. Everybody? Again, my expectation is 5 minutes for these two combined. Okay? Everybody?
Got it.
All right, moving on. What's next? What's the equivalent output, right? What's the equivalent output? So you say, oh, we have done this so many times, right? In the lectures as well as in the TS section. See, plus I plus G. Do I have the equation for C? Say yes.
Yes.
So what is C equal to? Oh,
C bar plus C
yeah,
times
but
YB.
then, okay, then what's the C bar equal to here? Right?
1100.
And then what's the marginal propensity to consume out of total income? 6. Agree? So this is my consumption. Okay. There's no TR bar. So this is only C bar. This is the MPC out of total income. You got to be very careful about all this numbers. Otherwise, you're not going to get the equivalent output as an integer. And then you're going to be sitting there during the exam, cursing me. All right. So what is I equal to? What's the investment equal to?
2020.
What is government spending equal to?
1800.
Yeah? Everybody?
Yeah.
So therefore, I get my equation 1, right? 80 equal to. So you have 3 constant, 1100 plus 2020 plus 1800. So what's the sum of those 3 constants? Come on. What is 1100 plus 2020?
4920.
Huh?
4920.
4920. Thank you. And what's the name of this? 4920? What do we call that? Total?
A bar. Total autonomous consumption.
No.
Or spending. Total autonomous spending.
Total autonomous spending or expenditure plus 0.6y. Oh, I'm sorry, 0.6y. Hey, second equation. Equilibrium. AD is equal to y. Agree?
Yeah.
So guys, I give you these 2 equations. Are you able to solve y star?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you, once again, I'm not going to do this again for you. You should be able to do this without any problem. Put the y on the right hand side of the second equation to the left hand side of the first equation. So when you do that, you get y equal to 4920 plus 0.61. One equation, one unknown. One equation, one unknown. Income expenditure model, you should be able to give me the resulting equivalent output. What is that equal to?
12,300.
Agree?
Yes.
So this is the way to solve this problem numerically. And let me show you that, how to verify your answer correct. Okay, you want to make sure that your answer is correct without doing any calculation. Okay, by looking into the table, you can verify your answer is correct. How do you do it? You say, oh, protocol, I know. In equilibrium, my equivalent output is going to be equal to C plus I plus G, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Demand equal to supply. Y equal to C plus I plus G. National income identity. So you look at the table. Did you see that in the bottom second, in the bottom second, in the second, I'm sorry, in the second last row, when the income is equal to 12,300, yeah? Did
Yeah.
you see that? Second last row, y is equal to exactly our equivalent output, 12,300, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Good. Then read out for me. What's the consumption?
8480.
8480. What is my investment?
2020.
What is my government spending?
1800.
So when you take the summation of these three numbers, you get exactly 12,300. Bingo. Your equivalent output is correct.
On the exam, if you just go to like the equation a bar over 1 minus t, 1 minus t, would you get full credit, or do you have to show like the whole derivation?
I will not give you full credits, but I'm not the one who does the grading. Your TA will.
Gotcha. So does that
They
mean
just be
potentially?
alert. No,
Yeah.
just be alert. You guys tend to have the sense that, oh, political, I want to use the formula. I want to use the shortcut. But there are many times in the exam questions which are tricky that your formula do not necessarily work.
Okay.
So, okay.
I see.
So
Yep.
I will go through this process. You go through this process, you will never go wrong. You try to use the formula. Sometimes you'll get stuck. You will not get the integer as the final answer. All right?
Okay.
In fact, when I was a student, I never memorized any formula. Okay? All right. So how many minutes you need for this one? How many minutes you need for this part?
3.5.
Okay, so I will give you 5. 5 minutes for this part. Okay? So the final question is part D, which is asking, suppose government spending goes up by 100, right? So therefore, notation wise, we're saying change in G bar is equal to 100. Agree? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a notation. So we want to find out, suppose that there's an increase in government spending by 100. What happened to the economy's output? Then you say, oh, Professor, let's do the government spending multiplier, right? This is what we discussed in the lecture. And then we say, oh, the government spending multiplier is nothing but 1 over 1 minus C, 1 minus T. So again, what is the C times 1 minus T represent? The MPC
Total.
out of total income. So question for you. Do I know what is the MPC of total income equal to? Say yes,
0.6.
please.
Yeah.
0.6. Right. So therefore, this is 1 over 0.4. Therefore, this is equal to 2.4. Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
So government spending multiplier is equal to 2.5. And I also tells you the increase in government spending is 100. So do you know what's the resulting change in the equivalent output equal to? Say yes, please.
Yes.
What do? 100 times 2.5, which give us
250.
250. Equivalent output will be increased by 250 as a result of $100 billion increase in government spending. You do not need more than 3 minutes for this part. Say yes.
Yes.
So to me, as I told you, in total, you do not need more than 20 minutes for the entire question. No more than 10 minutes for question number 1. So therefore, in total, you need less than 30 minutes for these 2 review questions. All right, any question about this? If
No.
not, have a nice weekend, and I will see you Monday morning for the first meeting.
Yeah, Professor.
No problem. Stop recording.
Recording stopped.